Welcome to Choose Better Living, where we come together to talk about books and subjects that leave a deep and lasting echo in each of our memories. Designing Your Life: How to Build a Well-Lived, Joyful Life is an inspiring book by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans, two lecturers at Stanford University and the co-founders of the renowned course called Designing Your Life. Drawing on the principles of design thinking, the book encourages readers to view life not as a single problem that must be solved once and for all, but as an ongoing process that can be explored, tested, adjusted, and redesigned over time. Rather than searching obsessively for one perfect path, the authors offer practical tools, hands-on exercises, and relatable stories that help people build a meaningful life aligned with their personal values, without being trapped by the pressure of perfection. Before going deeper into the ideas of the book, I would like to share with you two stories. The first story is about a woman named Ellen, who had a special love for rocks. From a very young age, she built an entire collection of stones of different sizes, shapes, types, and colors. As she grew older, Ellen was accepted into a prestigious university. Eventually, the time came when she had to choose her major. At that point in her life, Ellen did not have a clear idea of her future career. She did not know what she wanted to do with her life, but she knew she had to make a choice. In the end, she decided to study geology. It seemed like a reasonable decision, since the thing she loved most was collecting rocks. Her parents were extremely proud of her. Their daughter was a geology student, a future geologist in their eyes. However, after graduation, Ellen moved back in with her parents. She began working as a babysitter, walking dogs every morning, and earning only a modest income. This was the moment when both her family and Ellen herself became confused about what was happening. Why did Ellen end up as a babysitter? Why did she not start her career? Why did she not become a geologist, as everyone had expected? In reality, Ellen was not alone. In the United States, only 27% of college graduates end up working in jobs that are directly related to their major. According to Dave Evans, one of the authors of the book, the belief that the major you choose in school will determine your entire life and guarantee a fulfilling future is one of the most common misconceptions people carry. From this first story, it becomes easy to understand how deeply ingrained assumptions can quietly shape our decisions, often without us realizing it. And this leads naturally to a second story. The second story is about a man named Donald, who had a stable career and a secure life. Every day followed the same routine. He woke up, went to work, paid the bills, came home, and went to sleep. Everything was predictable, safe, and orderly. For more than 30 years, he followed this pattern. His children had already graduated. His mortgage was nearly paid off. His retirement fund was well established. Yet for many years, Donald carried a persistent question in his mind. He kept asking himself, why am I doing this job? Am I truly satisfied with the career and the life I have built? He brought this question with him everywhere, to coffee shops, to the dinner table, to church, and even to bars. A glass of scotch might help him forget for a moment, but once he became sober, the question always returned. He never found an answer that truly satisfied him. Once again, Donald was not alone. In the United States at that time, there were 31 million people between the ages of 44 and 70 who longed to build a fulfilling career that matched who they were, met their financial needs, and contributed something meaningful to society. Yet, very few were able to find such an ideal career. Most people worked simply to meet basic needs. As time went on, many of them felt increasingly dissatisfied. Deep down, they wanted to do something meaningful. But most never began because they were afraid it was already too late to start over. What Ellen and Donald share in common is not a lack of ability or talent. According to the authors, the real issue is that both of them developed distorted beliefs about how to view and solve problems in life. These hidden assumptions shaped their decisions and limited their sense of possibility. This naturally leads to a question for all of us. Are we like Ellen and Donald? Do we feel lost in our decisions? constantly uncertain, unable to find true happiness, even though we have worked hard to take care of the basics of life. If we live only to satisfy basic needs, if our days pass quietly and comfortably, is that truly the life we want to live? So what does it actually mean to live a well-lived life? A well-lived life is one in which you live according to your own values and beliefs. It is a life where you pursue work that genuinely engages you, work that brings personal fulfillment and creates value for others. At the same time, it allows you to build harmony across different areas of your life. But how do you begin building such a life? Do you need to clearly identify your passion before you can start living the life you want? The answer is not necessarily. You can begin right where you are, even if you feel uncertain or unclear. A well-lived life does not require you to fully understand your passion from the start. What it does requires a crucial way of thinking, a mindset the authors call design thinking. When we ask the question what design thinking really is, it helps to start by looking around us. If you take a moment to observe your surroundings, you will notice that everything from the office you work in, the home you live in, the chair you sit on, the desk in front of you, to the phone you are holding in your hand, all began with a design. Around the world, there are many types of luxury sports cars. Each one has its own distinct style. Ferrari carries a romantic spirit rooted in Italian culture, while Porsche emphasizes precision and detail in a very German way. None of these cars or everyday objects exist by accident. Each one is a result of careful design, guided by clear goals, ideas, and perspectives from the people who created them. In the same way, your life, your career, your interests, and your relationships also deserve a design. This is not a design imposed by others, but one that you create yourself. You are the one who sketches the initial ideas, tests different possibilities, experiments with new directions, and refines the design again and again until it fits who you truly are. Design thinking, at its core, is the process through which you create a life design that belongs entirely to you. Once we understand that, it becomes natural to ask what a well-designed life actually looks like. A well-designed life is one that fits you. It is a thoughtful combination of what you believe in and what you want to do. It is not a life built only around external expectations, but one shaped by your own values and intentions. Such a life is filled with experiences and adventure. It includes both success and failure. And this leads to an important clarification. A perfect life design does not mean a life without difficulty or hardship. A well-lived life will inevitably involve lessons, challenges, and moments when you must pay the price through effort, sweat, and even tears. Yet, when you are living a life that truly feels engaging and meaningful, you eventually come to see that every experience was worth it. So, how do you create such a life design? According to the book, there are 5 essential elements that help you build a well-designed life. The first element is curiosity. Curiosity can be understood simply as a desire to explore and to ask questions. In daily life, curiosity allows you to see opportunities at every stage, even in difficult or uncertain situations. Instead of feeling stuck, curiosity invites you to look closer and discover what else might be possible. Curiosity naturally leads to the second element, which is experimentation and a bias toward action. Experimentation means taking action in order to find solutions to problems. Rather than sitting still and only guessing what might work, you choose to step forward, try something out, and evaluate the results again and again. When failure happens, you do not retreat or lose confidence. You continue to move forward and begin a new experiment. As you experiment, you begin to encounter the third element, which is reframing your thinking. Reframing is a process of repeatedly facing and reshaping distorted beliefs, especially the beliefs that prevent you from moving toward the life and career you desire. This process is essential for identifying the real problems you face and discovering the right solutions. To make this clearer, consider a few examples of common distorted beliefs and how they can be reframed. One distorted belief is the idea that if you become successful, then you will be happy. A healthier way to reframe this belief is to recognize that true happiness comes from building a life that fits who you are. Another distorted belief is the thought that it is already too late to start the career you dream of. Reframing this belief means understanding that it is never too late to begin creating the life you want. As your thinking becomes clearer, the fourth element comes into focus, which is developing sound awareness and perspective. To build a well-lived life, you must learn to think like a designer and pay close attention to the process itself. Life is a journey, and at times it can feel messy and unpredictable. There may be moments when you move forward one step, only to slip back 2 steps. Even in a well-designed life, mistakes and failures will appear in your experiments. However, you always have the opportunity to remove what does not work and replace it with solutions that are more useful and meaningful. Understanding and adjusting your perspective is crucial. Clear understanding helps reduce unnecessary mistakes, strengthens your focus, and allows you to fully appreciate what you are doing at each stage of your life. Finally, the fifth element is radical collaboration. Collaboration means learning how to work with others. You are the main character and the sole designer of your life, but you still need support from mentors, trusted individuals, and helpful communities to address different challenges along the way. No one can live entirely alone. Every meaningful life is built with the presence of companions who walk alongside us. When it comes to designing a well-lived life, one of the first and most important ideas in the book is learning to let go of the obsession with passion. Many people are trapped in a mistaken belief that all they need to do is figure out what their passion is, and then everything else in life will fall into place. This belief sounds appealing, but the reality is very different. Most of us do not actually know what we are truly passionate about. A large body of research shows that passion often develops after we begin doing something and discover that we enjoy it. It usually starts as a simple interest. As we continue, we put in effort and spend more time practicing. As our skills grow, our sense of passion for the work deepens. Passion, in other words, is often the result of engagement, not the starting point. This idea closely matches my own experience. Even when I was already a university student, I had no clear concept of passion or a dream job. At that time, I simply thought I would figure things out after graduation. When I entered college, I began reading books, but reading was nothing more than a casual form of entertainment. After graduating, I took a job related to my major. It was a fairly suitable position, and I stayed there for about 2 years. Eventually, due to several issues, I decided to leave. That was when I began exploring writing more seriously. I experimented with many small projects, most of which did not succeed. Over time, I chose to focus on writing about books. What once was merely an interest has now become the path I am committed to pursuing. It is the work I genuinely enjoy and want to keep improving at. This is why, if you are currently struggling to identify your passion, the authors strongly advise against putting pressure on yourself. Instead of urgently trying to define your passion, they suggest focusing on developing the right way of thinking. The right mindset helps you discover what you truly enjoy while also enabling you to build a life that fits who you are. This mindset means allow yourself to explore, to experiment, to notice what you like and want to pursue, and then to commit your full effort to it. Another key principle in designing a well-lived life is understanding that you must begin exactly where you are. It does not matter where you come from, where you think you should be going, what job you currently have, or what you believe you can or cannot do. Design thinking remains a powerful tool for building the life you want. However, in order to move in a meaningful direction, you must first identify the right problem to solve. Many people make the mistake of spending a great deal of time trying to solve the wrong problem. The authors refer to these as gravity problems. Gravity problems are problems that cannot be solved. They are fixed realities, constraints, or unchangeable facts of life. They may appear as obstacles or difficult situations, but they are not problems that can be eliminated. For example, someone might say, "I want to go back to school and become a doctor, but it would take at least 10 years, and I do not want to spend that much time at this stage of my life. What should I do?" What this person is struggling with is a gravity problem. We all know that becoming a doctor requires a significant investment of time, effort, and commitment. If this person does not want to dedicate that amount of time, but still wants to work in the medical field, the author suggests considering alternative paths that better match their needs and circumstances. This could include becoming a nurse or moving into a healthcare-related role that requires less time in school and training, while still offering meaningful and valuable experience. The key idea here is simple. If you cannot change your circumstances, you can change the way you think about them. The most important point is not to get stuck chasing a grand and overwhelming goal or trying to change the entire world at once. Learning to distinguish between real problems that can be solved and gravity problems that must be accepted is a critical skill in design thinking. Once you begin to see clearly where change is possible, the next step is understanding where you currently stand in your own life. One practical way to do this is by evaluating 4 major areas that matter most. These areas are health, work, play, and love. Health comes first, because without it, you cannot truly enjoy the other areas of life in the same way. To gain clarity, assess each area on a scale from 0 to 10. Rate your health, your work, your relationships, and your sense of play or enjoyment. Then write a short paragraph explaining why you chose each rating. What is going well in each area? What feels lacking? Why do you think it is missing? Set aside at least 30 minutes for this exercise. Writing things down helps you see your situation more clearly. It allows you to understand where you are right now and how far that place may be from where you want to be. After completing the life assessment exercise, the next step is to create your own compass, a tool that helps guide your direction moving forward. This personal compass is not something external. It is built from your own life view and your work view. Your life view can be understood as a collection of beliefs you hold about the world and how it works. It reflects how you define meaning, value, and purpose in your life. To begin shaping your life view, it can be helpful to reflect on a few key questions. What makes your life feel meaningful? What makes your life valuable and worth living? What factors influence your life decisions? These factors might include money, status, family, or contributing to the community. To give a concrete example from my own experience, I currently find life meaningful when I am able to focus on doing my work well, while also spending time learning about myself and exploring who I am. At this stage of my life, my primary goal is to live in a state of calm and inner peace. Because of that, after finishing my work, I prefer to spend time in a private space where I can relax and enjoy simple moments. I believe that this life view strongly shapes both the work I choose to do and the habits I maintain in my daily life. Alongside your life view is your work view. Your work view refers to your core beliefs about what good work means to you and what role work plays in your life. It is about how you define meaningful work and why that work matters to you personally. To better understand your work view, consider reflecting on several questions. Why do you want this particular job? What is the goal of the work you want to do? What meaning does this work hold for you as an individual? How does money relate to your work? How do experience, personal growth, and your ability to contribute connect to the work you choose? Work views can vary widely. There is no single standard or correct formula. Each of us holds different perspectives on status, income, lifestyle, skills, and personal development. These differences are natural and deeply personal. Because of this, it is essential to be honest with yourself and take the time to uncover your own views on both life and work. Understanding what you truly want becomes a critical foundation for building a meaningful life that is uniquely your own. To design a well-lived life, it is essential to understand what truly engages you and gives you energy, as well as what drains your energy and causes you to lose interest. Knowing this difference helps you make better decisions about how you spend your time and where you direct your attention. For me personally, I feel the most energized when I spend time writing, reading, and working on things related to my interests. I also notice that my creativity flows more easily when I work in coffee shops. At the same time, I have learned that my energy tends to decrease when I have to interact with many people at once, or when I spend long periods of time in environments that are too loud. Understanding what gives you energy and what takes it away is extremely important. In the book, the authors recommend practicing emotional journaling as a way to better understand yourself and the factors that affect your quality of life. An emotional journal includes two main parts. The first part is an activity log, where you record moments when you feel engaged and energized. The second part is reflection, where you write down the thoughts you draw from each day. These may include deeper questions, surprising insights, or anything that offers clues about what fits you well or does not. If you are very busy, the author suggests writing in your emotional journal at least 3 times a week. With this growing awareness, you are ready to begin actively designing your life by choosing to see it in a new way. A common mistaken belief is that in order to live the best possible life, we must know exactly what that life looks like. Without a clear answer, many people fear their lives will become dull or meaningless. In reality, this idea is flawed. The question of what the best life is has no real meaning. The best life is simply the life that fits you. It is a life where you can spend your time exploring, learning through experience, and discovering new possibilities. One practical exercise the authors propose is to write 3 different life plans for the next 5 years of your life. The reason for choosing 5 years is intentional. 2 years is too short and often creates anxiety because the vision feels limited. 7 years is too long because too many unexpected events can occur and dramatically change your direction. 5 years is a balanced period that allows time for preparation, transition, practice, and results. The 3 life plans you create each represent a different version of your future. The first life focuses on what you are currently doing. This may include the ideas you already have in mind, ways to improve your current work, or a project you've been wanting to pursue for a long time. The second life explores what you would do if your current job were no longer available. If one day you lost your job and could not continue in your present role, how would you earn a living? Imagining a different kind of work can open up fresh and creative ideas you may not have considered before. The third life reflects what you would do or how you would live if money and personal image were not concerns. If you knew you could create honest work, and if you did not care about how others judge you, what would you choose to do? When writing about your desires, it is important to stay relaxed and record your thoughts honestly. Honesty helps you identify what truly aligns with your values. From there, the next step is to build an adventure plan. For each version of your 5-year life, create corresponding variations that explore how that life might realistically unfold. Each plan should include a clear timeline that covers personal life events as well as non-work related milestones. You might consider whether you want to get married, move to a new place, or take part in training for a sport or physical activity. For each option, write 6 core descriptions that clearly explain what you want to do and what that work or lifestyle would look like. Within each potential timeline, carefully examine what you hope to learn about yourself and the world around you. Ask yourself what you want to test or explore in each version of your life. After that, create an evaluation table. Consider the resources you have available, such as time, money, skills, and relationships that may support your plan. Reflect on how interested and excited you feel about each plan. Examine your level of confidence, whether you feel fully confident or hesitant about carrying it out. Finally, assess whether the plan feels meaningful and consistent with who you are and how you see the world. There are also several important questions to consider. Where would you live? What kind of experiences or lessons would you gain? What impact and results might come from choosing this path? What would your life look like? And how do you see yourself in terms of roles, fields, or organizations? Once your plans are clear, the final step is to begin experimenting. Ideas only become real when you take action. A helpful principle is to start with the option that excites you the most. The best way to begin is through small experiments with low commitment. For example, if you currently work in an office but want to become a full-time writer, do not rush to quit your job. Instead, try spending 30 minutes to 1 hour each day writing something you enjoy. Then look for a platform where you can share your work and observe how it feels. There are several important reminders during the process of testing the life you want to live. Take small steps slowly and steadily. Do not try to avoid failure. Life is a sequence of unexpected events and challenges. You may succeed, and you may also experience repeated failure. Rather than avoiding it, choose to learn from it and see failure as a companion that helps you gain life experience. When you face problems that feel impossible to solve, seek advice from mentors or individuals with strong expertise in the field you want to pursue. Their guidance can offer valuable perspectives. Throughout the process of designing your life, the authors also recommend following a simple 4-step approach. First, generate many possible options. Next, narrow them down to 1 to 3 top choices. Then make a decision. Finally, continue reflecting on that decision to ensure you have thought it through carefully. Once you make a decision, honor it and commit to seeing it through. Above all, remember that life is a process. It rises and falls. There are victories and losses, followed by new victories. Recognizing life as a process helps reduce disappointment and prevents you from giving up too quickly. A well-designed life gives you greater confidence. It allows you to take action, to experiment, to make mistakes, to let go of what does not work, and ultimately to build a life that is more successful, more fulfilling, and more joyful.